Sorry, I didn't start the recording.
So that's right. Start again. Action.
Okay, see. So what we are doing is throw keyword. Throw keyword, why we are using that? If you want to throw the exception by yourself, or if you want to throw the customized exception, for that only we are using the throw keyword. Okay, so simply as before what we are doing, if you write any if else statement and all, simply we are printing the statement. Simple, if any positive number enters, if any negative number enter, simply we are printing the statements there. But now we knows the exception and we knows the how to handle the exception. So if anyone enter the positive number, anyone enter the negative number, so simply we are throwing the exception there. And if you want to throw the exception, for that simply you have to use the throw keyword here. So how to write the throw keyword? Simply we have to use throw, and after that new keyword, and after that any exception class name you have to use. You can create your own customized exception also. If you want to create your own customized exception, how we will create that? Simply you need to create a class. After that I have to create that. Okay, simply you need to create a class like that. Any name you can give, raining exception. Okay, and after that what we need to do? Here you have to extend the parent exception class. Extends here parent exception class means exception, and after that here you have to create an constructor. With this name you can create a constructor like that, public, and the exception name, sorry, class name. Hmm?
In case of finder construct, you cannot use method.
Where? Here. Here the constructor will automatically call. No, whenever we create an object, means whenever this whenever we create an object, no, that time our constructor will be called directly. So it will be called directly, and it will call the parent constructor also. I will explain you this thing. See, if I write here super, here you are saying no, we cannot able to create a method. So if you want to create a method, you have to create object first. After that, with the help of object, you have to call that method, right? So what we are doing here, if you want to call that, if you want to call this exception, what we need to do? We have to call this method, and from this method, we have to call the parent class constructor. So from here, if you want to call this constructor, what we are doing? Simply we are using new throw and a new keyword, and after that, simply we are using this raining exception here only, right? Like that. If we create like that, if we are using new keyword here, so when we use new keyword, our object is created, and if our object is created, means that time our constructor will also call, and after that our parent class constructor will also automatically call. So why we will create a method? If we create a method, no, that time we have to create an object, and with the help of object we have to call.
So it is easy.
It is easy, and it is direct. No, means it is direct only. So that's why we are using this one. Okay, so throw, and this is the syntax only, no, for throw. That is throw, new, and the exception class name you have to use. Okay, so this type we can create an customized exception. So which exception we have created here now? That is the raining exception. How to create? Simple, you can create a class, then extends. Where? Customize. Yes, sometimes you want to create exception that is not present inside the Java, right? Like puncture exception, it is present inside the Java. No. So you have to create that, no. So that time simply we will use the customized exception. Okay. When you want the customized exception, that time simply we will create a customized exception. Okay. So this is the customized exception we have created. That is the raining exception. After that, here, if you want to use that, simply we can use throw, new, and the exception class name. Now, another thing is that now you know that how to create a customized exception. Anyone have any doubt? Anyone have any doubt how to create a customized exception? Yes, Prabhu. Okay. Now, here, if you want to throw any exception, how to throw that? Simply you have to use throw keyword, then new keyword, and exception class name you can use, and any message you want to write here, any message you can write it here. So with the help of throw keyword, we can able to throw any exception. And what we are doing here, firstly, if we are using try and catch, any exception will become. So that time what is happening? The method in which exception occur, that method is creating that object. But here we are using the new keyword, see, throw and then new. See here what we are doing, simply we are creating the object. That is the programmer itself create an object, and after that if you are handling the exception, so it will give to the try and catch. But if you are not handling that exception, so what it will be do? It will be give that object to the default exception handler. That is the scenario of the throw keyword. Okay. Anyone have any doubt now?
Full doubt.
Rule out. Okay. Try it by yourself. Okay. If you have doubt again, no, so I will explain. Okay. So now we will see the throws keyword. Why we are using the throws keyword. Suppose yes, if you want to throw your throw the exception. Sometimes you want to here I want to throw the exception. If you want to create by your own. Huh. Yes, yes. You can also create with the help of. Hmm. There are two uses of the throw keyword. If you want to throw the exception, you can use throw keyword. Or if you want to create your own customized exception, then that time also use throw keyword. I will ask you in the interview, okay? So this is the thing. So see here, inside this, suppose I told you yesterday, no? Suppose we have an exception here inside the system.out. We have an exception here. I will explain the throws now. Okay. So here we have an exception that is the 100 divided by 0. So what JVM will do? JVM firstly JVM will terminate the program here only. After that, the method in which exception occur, that method will create an object. Inside that object, it will add three things: exception name, then description, and another one stack trace. Okay, you don't have to forget this thing. Okay, I will ask in the interview this thing. Okay, so after that, it will create an object. After creating that object, JVM will ask to this method, do you handling the exception or not? If this method is not handling the exception, then what is the next step?
It will ask the caller method.
It will ask to the caller method. Whichever caller method is there, it will ask to that method. So which is the caller method here? Main method. It will ask to that main method, do you handling the exception or not? Here it is handling the exception. No. So what it will be do now? Yes, it will give that object to the default exception handler. If it is handling the exception, means it will give to the catch block. But it is not handling the exception, means it will give to the default exception handler. Now another scenario is, suppose we have a one exception here. We are throwing one exception here. Throw, and suppose from here we are throwing one exception, that is the interrupted exception. I am throwing from here. Interrupted exception I am throwing from here. Okay, so now what is happening here? This method, if you call this method will throw one exception, that is the interrupted exception. See, if I run this one, see which exception it is throwing, that is the interrupted exception. So if you want to call this method, finally what we have to do, we have to handle this exception, right? If you want to call this method, we have to handle this exception. But now I don't want to handle this exception. Whoever call this method, right, whoever person will call this method, that person I want to handle this exception. Now I don't want to handle this exception here. Whoever person will means call this method, that person I want to handle this exception. So what we will do for that, simply we will use here throws keyword. Okay, and after that, which type of exception we have there? Interrupted exception. So we will write simply throws and the interrupted exception. Now where exception is coming, see, inside the caller one. So where means if you want to call this method, if you write throws and interrupted exception here. Now what this method is saying, if you want to call this m1 method, you have to handle one exception here. Which exception you have to handle? That is the interrupted exception. If you want to call this method, you have to handle one exception, that is the interrupted exception. Because this method is throwing one exception, that is the interrupted exception. And what I am writing here, that is the throws. Now I am saying that whoever call this method, whoever person will call this method, that person have to handle the exception first. I am not handling the exception here. Whoever person will call this method, that person have to handle the exception. So that's why I'm writing here throws and the interrupted exception. Okay, now see, suppose I have created one class. This class I have created, don't have here main method. Okay, now Mohan came tomorrow with me, and I want that when Mohan will call this method, he has to handle the exception. Okay, so for that, what I am writing here, simply throws and the interrupted exception. When Mohan will call this method, so what he will do, first he has to handle this exception, and after that only he is able to execute this method. Otherwise he is not able to execute this method. So for that only we are using simply throws keyword. So why we are using, if you use throws keyword, we don't have to handle this code here. Whoever person will call this method, that person will handle the exception. That is the only use of our throws keyword. Okay, understand this one? No. So inside with the help of throws keyword, we are handling only the which type of exception, that is the checked exception only. Checked exception means, see here, come here and here see which type of exception, that is, sorry. See, checked exception means there is a class not found, IO exception, no such method, SQL exception, remote exception, interrupt exception. These all are the checked exception, that is the compile time exception. Okay, if you want to handle that, with the help of throws keyword, we can only handle this type of exception, that is the class not found, IO exception, no such method exception. See here, simple, it is simple only. See, so this method M1 method is having the exception. Which type of exception this M1 method have now? See, that is the interrupted exception, and I don't want to handle this exception here. Whoever person will call this method, that person will handle the exception. That thing I want. So for that, what we will write? Simply throws we will write here. See, object dot M1 I am writing. So it is giving any error now. It is giving any error? No. So if I write here now, throws, okay, an exception, that is the interrupted exception. See, if this person will calling the exception method, he has to handle the exception first. After that only he is able to execute this method, otherwise he is not able to execute this method. Okay, so that is the thing about the throws keyword. See, if I write here system.out and if I write here hello, now when this hello will be print, when this method will handle the exception, so I will handle the exception here, try and catch. Now if I print this one hello and the interrupted exception, that is with the help of throws keyword, it is printing on the console. Okay, throws keyword why we are using, if you don't want to handle the exception here only, whoever person will call this method, that person you want to handle the exception. So for that only we are using the throws keyword. Okay, inside the project level what will happen, no, we will not handle the exception. Means many people are there, no, I am the one, I am not a single person which is in the project, multiple persons are working on that project, same project. So what I will do there, simply I will throw the exception from there, and whoever person will call that exception, that person will handle that exception. Simple, for that only we are using the throws keyword here. Okay, if you want to handle the exception by someone whoever call this method, so for that we are using the throws keyword. Okay, okay, understand now. Okay, so this is all about the throws keyword and the throw keyword. Okay, so this thing you have to practice that, and these are the 5 ways to handle the exception: try, catch, finally, throw and throw. So why we are using try? To write a rescue code. Why we are using the catch? To write a handling code. Why we are using finally? To write the cleanup code. Throw. If you want to throw the exception, or if you want to create a customized exception, for that only we are using the throw. Okay, and we are using, why we are using the throws? It is also easy only. If you don't want to handle the code there only, see, it is used to declare the exception. It gives information to the caller method that there may occur an exception, so it is better to caller method to provide an exception handling code. Means it will provide hint to the that caller method, like here this method is throwing the exception, so you have to handle that exception first, and after that you can able to use them. Okay, that is the only use of our throws keyword. So here our exception handling is over. Anyone have any doubt? Anyone have any doubt? Okay. So Saturday, Sunday, you have to practice these codes. Okay. Now we will move to the another part, that is the multitasking. Okay. So multitasking, what is meant by multitasking is multitasking. Anyone knows what is multitasking? One activity in multiple time. No, not the multiple activity. No, sorry, one activity in multiple way.
Multitask in single time.
Multiple task in multi-time or at a time. Okay. Multiple tasks at same time, that is only known as the multitasking. Okay. So here we have, see, suppose we have computer, inside the computer I am using Chrome also, I am using Eclipse, I am using PowerPoint, this thing also I am using, after that I am using Paint also. So this is called as the multitasking. Same multiple task I am executing at the same time, that is only known as the multitasking. Here if you see here, VLC I am using, Word I am using, and browser I am using. So this is called as the multitasking. Multiple tasks execute at the same time, that is only known as the multitasking. So multitasking have the two types, that is the process based multitasking and the thread based multitasking. Process based multitasking is also called as the multi-processing, and thread based multitasking is also known as the multi-threading. What is the use of this one? What is the benefit of this multitasking is it will increase the performance of the CPU. Okay, it will increase the performance of the CPU. So multi-processing means what? What is the multi-processing? Yes,
Doing different types of activities in the
no, that is the
same
same, no, same thing.
multiple
See here,
threading.
by the diagram you can, here is the definition also I have wrote. Okay, so here see, if we connect multiple processors to the single system, that is only known as the multi-processing. Okay, when one system is connected to the multiple processor in order to complete the task, that is only known as the multiprocessing. But it is not suitable at the system level. It is suitable at the system level, it is not suitable at the programming level. So that's why we are not seeing this multiprocessing inside the Java. Okay, because Java is a programming level, no, and it is best suitable at the system level, not at the programming level. That's why we are not using this inside the Java, that is the multiprocessing. We are using only the multi-threading inside the Java, because multi-threading is best suitable at the programming level. Okay, multi-threading is best suitable at the programming level. That's why we are using multi-threading inside our Java. So what is meant by multi-threading and what is meant by thread? Anyone knows? Read it now from here. Here I have wrote, see how to read. Yes, anyone knows what is meant by thread? Huh? Errors, not. Yes, bro. We can say that. Yeah. Okay, so thread. See, I told you one day also. See. So what is meant by thread? Suppose we have this process. Okay. Suppose I have given you the work, and this work is done. This work has to complete. Means if you want to complete this work will take 2 days for the single person. But I told you in 1 hour, like you have to complete this work in the single day only. So what you will do? You will assign the different person. Like you will ask to your friend, you 2 3 friends you will be asked, like, right? And what you will do? All with your friend you will be differentiate this work into the small tasks, right? You will differentiate this work into the small tasks. So what you will do? This task will be done by this. This task will be done by this, and this task will be done by this. Means we are dividing big process into the small tasks. That is only known as the multi-threading. Okay. So what is meant by thread means it is a small task only. If you notice anywhere, like have you used VLC ever? Every day you are using, no? So yes, VLC. VLC player, you know, any video player you use that. So this is the VLC player. Suppose this is the video VLC player. Inside the VLC player, there one is the progress bar, right? Progress bar is there. Video will be there. I will write here. Video will be there. After that, audio will be there. After that, volume bar is there. After that, progress bar is there. Play pause button is
Play
there.
pause.
Yes. Forward and backward. Yes. Forward and backward. All the tasks are there. So how much means movie you watch, right? So what is the length of the movie? That is third 3 hours of the 2 hours only, right? So if you start the movie, any movie you start, so how much time it will be take? That is 3 hours, 3 hours only, right? Have you ever saw like that? Like first video will be play 3 hours, after that audio will be play for 3 hours, then progress for bar will be play for the 3 hours. Have you noticed that ever? No. You watch 3 hours video, then after that you watch audio for 3 hours. Okay, so what will happen? It will not happen like that. Video, audio, volume, play, pause, it all will be happen at the same time. So that is only known as the multi-threading. Means these are all are the small task here. Video is a small task. Audio is a small task. Volume is a small task. Play forward, backward. These all are the small task only, and this all the small tasks are executed at the same time. That is only known as the multi-threading. Video is a small task here. Okay, audio is a small task. and volume is a small task. If we take this whole VLC, this is a big process. Okay, this is the goal is the process, but here inside the process, inside the VLC, we have a small task, like a video is a small task, audio is a small task, volume is a small task. This all the small tasks are present inside the VLC, right? So we can say that thread is a sub part of the process, where thread is present inside the process. If you consider VLC as a process, okay, what we are saying to the VLC, that is the VLC is a process. Inside the VLC we have a video, audio, volume. And video, I told you, video is a thread, audio is a thread, volume is a thread. So where video is present inside the VLC, so where thread will be present, thread is present inside the process. Inside the process thread will be present. Okay, where thread is present inside, suppose this is a thread, suppose this is a process. Inside the process, this small thread will be present like that. Okay, small thread will be present like that. This is only called as the thread. Multiple threads are present inside the process, and thread is present inside the process. That's why we are saying that thread is a sub part of the process. Okay, or you can say that thread is a sub task, or thread is a small task also. Okay, now you know that thread is a executing multiple thread, that is sub process, we can say that. A small task, we can say that, or sub part of the process also, we can say that. At the single time, that is only known as the multi-threading. All the threads we can execute at the same time, that is only known as the multi-threading. Where we are using the multi-threading inside the software, inside the games, here inside the animation also, multiple means in multiple day, multiple verses this multi-threading are using. Okay, so multiple threads are used at the same time, or execute at the same time, that is only known as the multi-threading. We have two ways to create a multi-threading, that is the thread class and the runnable interface. Inside a thread class, multiple constructors are present, like thread runnable target, thread string name. Multiple constructors are present inside the thread class. Multiple methods also present inside the thread class, like run method, start method, current thread, is alive, get name, set name. Like multiple methods are present inside the thread class. Like these are the all the methods, we have to see that these methods, and all the methods you must have to know them. Okay, if you use AM also, there also one concept, that is the event handler. There also we have to create a thread with the help of runnable interface. So you have to confident in this topic. Okay, inside the multi-threading. Okay, now we will see, if you are not using the thread concept, so what problem we will face. Okay, so here we have a video, music, progress bar, and time. We will try to create a VLC player with the help of our oops concept only. We are not using the multi-threading and all. Oops concept we saw that in abstraction unit. With the help of that oops concept only, we will try to create a VLC player. Small VLC player we are creating here. So simple, I will come here. Sorry, this is not January. Okay. So inside this packet now. Okay. Inside this package, I will try to create a VLC. So I will right click here, and here I will try to create a class with the name VLC. Okay. So inside the VLC, many things are present, right? Which are that three things? Which are the things? Video, music, progress bar, time. So we will try to create with the help of oops concept. So I will create one class first here. Class is an object, we know that. No? So I will create a class with the help with the name video. Okay. After that, here public void and video class I'm writing, or I'm writing here play video. System.out I'm writing, and simple I'm writing here, that is the not test playing anything you can write. Sorry, test also you can write. Playing video I'm writing. Simple, I will copy this thing and I will create for the audio as well, and same thing I will create for the anything for the progress bar I will create. Okay, so this thing is a audio play. Here what it will bring, play audio, and here also I will write play audio. Okay, after that, here after this one, this one is the progress bar, and here also I will write play progress bar, and here I will write play progress bar. Okay, so we have three classes here: video, audio, and another one is the progress bar. Inside the each class we have each method as the play video, play audio, and the play progress bar. Okay, if we execute this method, playing video will be played. Suppose we are watching the movie and here we have a movie with the video 3 hours. Audio we having with the 3 hours and progress we have for the 3 hours. Now we will see them. If we want to call that one, what we need to do? Main method we have to create, and inside the main method we have to call that object and we have to call the method. So first one is the video. So what we need to do? We have to create an object of the video. So with the help of video, which is the method is present there? Play video. After that, another thing we have new audio, and with the help of audio, we can call that method, that is the audio dot play audio. And new thing we have, that is the TV, right? There is the progress bar. With the help of progress bar, we can able to call the now. If I run this one, so what will be print on the console? See,
Video 3 hours.
yes, playing video 3 hours, then playing audio 3 hours, and after that playing progress bar 3 hours. If I run this one, first it is playing the video for 3 hours, playing audio for the 3 hours, and after that at last it will play the progress bar 3 hours. If we create the VLC player with the help of oops concept only, so what it will do? It will play the video for the 3 hours. If you create the VLC player with the help of oops concept, so what it will do? First it will create the means it will play the video for the 3 hours. After that it will play the audio for the 3 hours. And after that at last it will play the progress bar for the 3 hours. Means we have to watch the movie for the 9 hours. Then only we can complete the movie, right? We don't want like this. So what we want to execute this all the things at the same time, right? We want to execute this all the things at the same time. So what we will do for that? So simply we will use the threading concept here, that is the multi-threading concept here. So what we will do? We will convert this as a thread, and we will convert this as a thread, and we will convert this as also a thread, and we have to execute this all the threads at the same time. So this is the scenario we have to do that. Can you do that? Okay, so I will tell you how to do that tomorrow. Okay, and there are two ways to create a thread, which are that thread class, and another one is the runnable interface. I will tell this you tomorrow. Tomorrow I will take two classes. Okay.